Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do a different type of video. I want to talk about the assumptions of being an African here in Australia, and some of the things that I experience, some of the things people say to me, some of the misconceptions that a lot of Australians think about Africans. As most of you guys know by now, I do live in Australia and I've lived here for 31 years. I'm now 35. So yeah, I came here when I was 4 years old. I turned 5 about a month or so after. But yeah, there have been some interesting experiences, interesting encounters, over the last 31 years. And, some of the stuff that I'm going to mention still actually happens today, despite the growing African population here in Australia. So yeah, I just want to share some of that with you, get a conversation going. Maybe some of you have even experienced some of the same things being an African in other parts of the world. I'd love to hear you guys' experience as well. Before I start though, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. The button is down below. Also, click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my uploads. And if you like this video, please also give it a thumbs up. All right, let's go. Okay, so first of all, when somebody asks me, where are you from? And I say Ghana, most people don't know where that is. Basically, they only know of like countries like South Africa, Kenya, where they've seen, safaris and that kind of stuff. At a point, people didn't even really know much about Nigeria. Unfortunately, because of a lot of the 419 stuff that goes on, people are a lot more aware of, Nigeria. And even here in Australia, we have a lot of refugees from Sudan. And even then, they don't even know that they're Sudanese. They just refer to them as, the really tall, dark people. So yeah, Ghana is pretty much non-existent when they think about Africa. But to be honest, a lot of Australians think Africa is just South Africa. And of course, they don't realize Africa is a whole continent with lots and lots of countries. They just know Africa and they think it's a country. And I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that as well. And then of course, they also proceed to ask me if I know them, like I'm supposed to know every African or black person that I see. And of course I say no and then have to tell them, I'm from Ghana, they are from Sudan, or they are from here, and let them know that they're two different places, they're two different countries. Also another thing, when I mention Ghana, a lot of people will say, you mean Guyana? So yeah, they've never heard of a country called Ghana. However, if I do mention, we play soccer or something along those lines, some people who are into football and they kind of follow the World Cup and that kind of thing will be like, oh, Ghana, they play really good soccer, or they play really good football. So that's pretty much the only time that they kind of have an idea about Ghana. Okay, so the next question people usually ask is, do you like it here? Or you must like it here, or you must be happy to be here. You must be happy that you were able to leave your country and come here. And I'm like, no, I actually like my country. My country is a wonderful country. My country is very peaceful. There's a lot of enjoyment in my country. I have so much fun when I go to my country. I go back every year almost. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, Ghana's a wonderful country. It's a beautiful country. The people are friendly. Anyone who's traveled to Ghana who's not a Ghanaian will be able to tell you this. There's great wealth there. Ghanaians are enjoying themselves in Ghana. And I say in Ghana, people work to live. They work hard, but then they enjoy themselves. Here, people live to work. Our whole lives are centered around working, and that's about it. There's no enjoyment after. And then another thing I always mention is there's a real sense of community, when you go to Ghana. When you wake up in the morning and you're going to buy your bread and egg or your cocoa or your wache, people greet you. The same people who see you every day will always greet you. And if they don't see you on a particular day, oh, mommy, I didn't see you yesterday. So yeah, like that kind of stuff. Here, you can live in an apartment complex. You can live in a neighborhood, and your neighbors will never greet you. Like if you don't go out of your way to greet them, they will never greet you. You know, that's why people can die in their homes here and not be found for weeks, because nobody checks on each other. There's no sense of community and that whole I am my brother's keeper, which is very different to Ghana. And that's something that I always stress as well. And they're like, oh, really? That's really nice. There needs to be more of that here. And I'm like, yeah, it does. Because unfortunately, living in a country like Australia, we're so far away from, you know, other parts of the world, first of all. And this is something I said to my husband, you know, when we were doing the long distance thing. It can be super isolating in this country. Like if you don't have, you know, friends around you, like you can literally just be in your own little shell. Like you wake up, you do your regular routine, you come home, and that's like every day, day in, day out, weekdays, weekends, you know, like it can be very isolating, very lonely. That's why for me it's important to reach out to, you know, my friends and make sure that they're okay, meet up, catch up with them, because the depression can really kick in. And you know, there was a period in my life, you know, many years ago where I kind of felt that isolation, and you know, I think heading into depression. But lucky for me, I didn't enter into it deep enough where it became a negative thing in my life. And you know, you guys know what depression can do. So yeah, this place can be super isolating. I don't feel that when I go to Ghana, like every day is exciting, because just going down the street, you're gonna meet people. People are gonna say hello, greet you. People see you. I think that's what I'm trying to say, is people see you, whether they know you or not, they notice you, they see you, and it's not in a negative way, but just to make you feel like, yes, I'm alive, I'm here, you know. The other huge assumption, misrepresentation, because of what the media has portrayed for so long, they think that we are all diseased, we have flies buzzing around our face, you know, we're starving, we live in huts. But yes, I'm very quick to check them and let them know that anything that you can find here, you can find in Ghana. I always say Ghana has the best of both worlds. It's got, you know, the Western aspect, but then it's got our cultural aspect as well. It's all infused in there. It's perfect. Another question that people ask, that my fellow Africans watching dislike or hate, is how did you get here? So yeah, you're either gonna give them the smart ass answer, or you're gonna kind of brush it off and just entertain the question. But yeah, how did you get here? I know a friend of mine was like, I swam across water infested, you know, with crocodiles. I ran however many miles. I jumped on the top of the plane and rode on top of the plane all the way. You know, like, how did you get here? How did you get here? Okay, so another comment I get is, oh wow, you speak English so well. And I'm like, yeah, because I came to Australia when I was 5 and I did all my schooling here. So yes, I speak English. I guess they just assume that, you know, if you're someone who looks like myself, you're not going to be able to speak English. But you know what? I guarantee that I probably speak, you know, better English than a lot of them, because, you know, I learned how to speak English and speak it correctly. So while we're on the whole language thing, another question I get asked is, do you speak African? Say something in African. Well, I'm from Ghana. Ghana is a country in Africa, and there are lots of different languages in Ghana. They just once again assume that Africa is a whole country and we all speak the same language. So if I see another African, I should just be able to speak African to them. Oh, so here's another one. Have you ever seen a lion? And I'm like, yeah, in a zoo or on TV. That's it. Have you ever seen a lion? Because they think that we live in these huts and we've got all these wild animals, you know, just walking around our huts. And then when we step out of our huts, oh, there's a lion. Oh, there's a giraffe. And as a teacher, that's one that I get when I'm like, oh, you know, I'm from Ghana. It's a country in Africa. Oh, have you seen a lion? Have you seen a tiger? Have you ever been to the zoo? Yeah, okay, that's where I saw those animals too. All right, so the next point, when it's summer here, people will say, oh, you must be used to this heat, you know, because you're coming from Africa. I know it's really hot there. And I'm like, actually, no, I'm not used to this heat. This heat is horrible. Australia is a very hot country in summer. And I let them know that, you know, yes, Ghana is warm. It's in a tropical, you know, climate, but it's more warm and humid. However, you know, if the breeze is blowing and you're in a cool place, it's, you know, you can get cool. In Australia here, the sun here, when it's shining, when the sun is out, if you're out at the hottest time of the day, the sun literally bites your skin. Like, you can feel it penetrating your skin. You can tell that being in this sun is not good for me because it's doing something to me. Like ekikau, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot hotter in Australia. The air here in summer is very dry. So if the breeze is blowing and, you know, we're in the peak of summer, it literally feels like the air, you know, blowing out of a, you know, a hot oven. It's very, very uncomfortable. You know, people are dying from skin cancer here because the sun is so deadly over here. And I have actually been sunburnt before. I was out in the sun, you know, for I think like 5 days. I went on like a church camp or something. I was out in the sun. It was in January, which is, you know, the peak of our summertime. And I was out in the water. It was a horrible experience. So yeah, and if I tell them I've actually been sunburned before, they're like, oh really? And I'm like, yeah, this sun here is no joke. Okay guys, so yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to share with you. Let me know down below if you've had some different experiences, if you've shared some of the same experiences. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of people here, it just comes down to lack of education. You know, they don't go out and seek the knowledge. You know, ignorance also plays a part. But, you know, at the end of the day, I just try to educate people that I encounter who, you know, have no knowledge of anything about Africa, anything about Ghana. So yeah, that's what I try to do, because otherwise you just get annoyed about everything because people be asking some really dumb stuff. Like, let's just be real. So yeah, comment down below. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like, you know, other videos like this, or, you know, if you have some other topics you'd like me to talk about, also leave that down below. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.